Hello and welcome to the brand new game show Jump. Tonight, 5 contestants take part for their chance to win £1 million. Your Saturday night starts right here.
Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump. Jump, jump, jump. Jump, jump.
The rules are simple. All you've got to do is move all the coins from the left-hand side of the diagonal line to the right. The only way a coin can move is by jumping over an adjacent coin. Simple. Let's welcome our first contestant. Hello, what's your name and where do you come from?
I'm David Mason and I'm from Birmingham.
Awesome. What do you do for a living, David?
I paint and sell Warhammer figurines.
Right. What would you spend the money on if you won?
I would spend it on a once-in-a-lifetime trip to Guernsey.
Okay. Do you understand the rules?
Yes, I do.
Then let's bring on the grid.
The idea of the game is to move all of the coins from the left-hand side of the board to the right. The only way you can move a coin is horizontally, diagonally, or vertically. Move all the coins to the right-hand side of the board and you win £1 million. David, you have 5 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go!
Contestant number 2, contestant number 3, contestant number 4, and finally, contestant number 5.
Are you sure this is possible?
Of course it's possible.
And you're certain?
Definitely. I did it earlier.
I'm not so sure it is. Get out of my...
Good afternoon and welcome to the news. I'm Lorraine Burgess.
And I'm Jason Mead.
Breaking news. Ex-newsreader Ben Ward was assaulted live on TV.
During the filming of a brand new game show, Jump, the presenter was attacked by an out-of-control contestant who claimed that the challenge was impossible for striking the host and damaging expensive film equipment.
But is it impossible? We decided to invite the contestant onto the show to explain why.
Roll VT.
This is Emmy with the news. I'm here with Ellie, the game show contestant, to find out why she thinks it's impossible. So, what have you got here?
Right. Well, the first thing we do is we need to colour the board as a chessboard, so it's a lot easier to see what's going on. So we know from the rules of the game that a coin can only move by jumping over an adjacent coin. So if we look at the pattern of the grid, a coin can only move to another square that is the same colour as its current square. So for example, this coin on a black square here can move to this black square here, and this coin on a white square over here can move to this white square here. So then it's only possible to move all of the counters from the left-hand side to the right-hand side of the grid if there is an equal number of black and white squares on both sides of the grid. We can see from the 5x6 grid here that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 black squares on the left and 6 black squares on the right. So there are always going to be at least 3 coins that can't move over to the right-hand side.
So there you go then, looks like it is impossible. But let's consider a general case for an n by n plus 1 grid where n is odd.
Well, if you look at the 2 corner squares, the top left corner is black and the bottom right corner is white. Now, when n increases, because it must always be odd, it increases by 2. So the number of rows and columns that you have also increases by 2. So because of the chessboard pattern that we're using, you're always going to have a black in the top left corner and a white square in the bottom right corner. You can also see that each diagonal line of squares alternates in colour. So you've got black, white, black and so on. Because n is odd, the number of diagonal lines in each half of the grid is also odd. So the colour of the diagonal line of squares by the separating line is always going to be the same colour as the corner square in that half of the grid. So this diagonal line on this side is black with the black corner square, and on this side it's white with the white corner square. Now, each diagonal line increases by 1 square as you move from the corner to the diagonal line, and the number of squares on the diagonal line by the separating line is equal to n. Now, because the diagonal lines alternate in colour, the number of black squares on the left can be found by adding up every other line of squares, starting with 1, which is the corner square, until we reach n, which is the line of squares by the separating line. So the number of black squares on the left-hand side is given by 1 plus 3 plus 5 plus 7 plus up to n. And on the right-hand side, because the first corner square is white, the black squares start from the second diagonal line. So we can find the number of black squares on the right by 2 plus 4 plus 6, etc. up until n minus 1. If we consider the 5 by 6 grid here, we can see that on the left, because n is equal to 5, the number of black squares on the left can be found by 1 plus 3 plus 5, which gives 9. And the number of black squares on the right can be found by 2 plus 4, which is 6, which are the same answers as we had before. So we need to show that the number of black squares on the left is always greater than the number of black squares on the right. Now these two sequences we have here can be represented by the two formulas that we have over here. So on the left-hand side, the number of black squares is given by xn plus 2 equals xn plus n plus 2. That is, the number of black squares on the next board size up is equal to the number of black squares on the previous board size plus your new value of n, which is n plus 2. Similarly, for the right-hand side, is that we only have n plus 1 because in our original sequence we only go up to n minus 1. Now, we can see from this 2 by 1 grid here that x1 equals 1 and y1 equals 0. So x1 is greater than y1. Now, since the equation for the blacks on the right-hand side here increases at a slower rate than the equation for the blacks on the right-hand side, there will always be more blacks on the left than the right, because xn will always be greater than yn. So there will always be more counters left on the left-hand side.
So, it looks like it's impossible for any grid then. Bit of a rubbish game show. Back to the studio.
Wasn't that fascinating, Marie?
Indeed it was.
Just goes to show, you can't trust anyone these days.
You definitely can't. But at least that's one more clip off our screens.
Right, so. Sadly, that's all we've got time for.
Goodbye.